everybody. I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday Show for June 28th, 2012.
And off the press this week, we're bringing you 2 movie reviews, starting with Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum, we're also reviewing Brave.
In Tech Insight this week, we're talking about Google I.O. because they announced a bunch of things.
Yeah, so Google decided to jump on the bandwagon. I guess it wasn't really a bandwagon because they planned this in advance. But lots of things from
The
Google.
advanced bandwagon.
Yeah, they're the band on the wagon. Anyway, they announced a tablet and some other things to try and compete in this whole ecosystem market. So our reviews on most of that coming later.
In Science this week, we're talking about robots playing rock, paper, scissors, which really seems like a step back from the technology we're talking about.
Rock, paper, robot?
Yeah.
Because the guys at MIT got bored, I
Rock,
guess.
paper,
They needed
ninja sword?
You know, they kept tying. I don't know.
Just mathematical computations, they always guessed each other's numbers.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors was too simple for them, so they needed to add a robot to make it more
Rock,
interesting.
paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
See, now that makes it more interesting without adding the robot. I don't know what was wrong. Anyway, then we're going behind the lens. We have a camera to review for you. It's the Olympus TG-1. It is a waterproof point and shoot.
It's true.
And we'll have the rundown on that behind the lens.
But without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Off the Press. So this week we're going to do a review on Brave. Now, Dave and I are going to do this together because, as you in the audience may not know, we have some formal training in the animation sector, and so feel a little bit more qualified than the average person
That's
to
right.
talk about this.
We have every right to be snobbish about this.
Absolutely.
And I am a little worried that we're actually going to go that way and that we're going to sound like we know better than you.
I actually
But
don't
frankly,
think so.
we do.
Yeah,
So.
well, we do know better. I suppose. We'll run with that. So we're going to start off with Dave here. How did you feel about it overall? And then...
We'll get into some of the specifics.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie. I felt shortchanged by the story. Mm-hmm. But there were so many other aspects to the movie that were just breathtaking and absolutely impressed the socks off of me.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
How about you?
Overall, I would say that I felt kind of similarly the first time I went to see it, in that I was a little let down. In classic Pixar fashion, I was expecting something and then was delivered something completely different, except this time it was not a step up for me so much. But the second time I went to see it, I left it and I was just like, oh, that was lovely. And so overall, I feel like I absolutely love it, but I would probably agree with most of the criticisms of it despite that. So, why were you let down?
The story I found was lacking. Mm-hmm. A lot of the technical elements for this thing, the editing, the framing, everything was absolutely amazing. And the story was not strong enough.
You can talk about whatever you want, because spoilers.
It felt like, from the trailer, it looked like it was going to be this really epic thing.
Absolutely.
And it was not an epic thing. Mm-hmm. When Merida's hair, oh my God.
Oh my God, it took them 3 years to develop that, you guys. It took them 3 years, and there are over 3,100 different strands of hair on her head, and they are all magic.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Someone, Dreamy-Eyed on Twitter said, retweeted someone else's tweet where they said, yeah, we should have someone draw Medusa's hair versus Merida's hair. And like that night, all night, I was like, but at any rate, the technical aspects of the movie were absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the story didn't measure up. Mm-hmm. For me, the story was too... This is going to sound ridiculous, but it was too local. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any gut-wrenching moments.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, Pixar has been a boys' club for so long. And, like, I'm a guy, and I hate to say it, but that's kind of okay. I don't really get as upset as a lot of other people do. Because I don't feel like I've been excluded, because there's really a bunch of stories about a bunch of guys. Oh, it's another story about a father and his son. Now, in your case, being that you are less masculine than I am,
okay, so I think that's probably, because I feel like we feel very similarly about this, but I just feel more strongly in one way or another. I also wanted a more epic scope. I felt like Brave constructed this huge world. It was all Scotland and waterfalls and huge bears and the whole story felt like it took place within a 3-block radius.
And
which
it ended up being huge waterfall.
Yeah.
And huge big bear.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's
And it wasn't
we
huge.
have year of experience. You know, it
was
really
very
would have felt
it was very, and so that's the difference, because at its core, whether you want it or not, this is a story about a mother and her daughter, and it's about a daughter who's a teenager effectively. I think the guess age for her is about 15, and she's just, and it's beautiful. I love Merida's character so much because she's such an actual real person. She is the definition of a strong female character because she is complicated, not because she beats everybody up, but because she's a complex 3-dimensional character with emotions and feelings. And I love the story. The story is not as multidimensional as I would have wanted, but Pixar set out to tell a story and they told it, and it was good. And thus I was pleased. I think that we need more mother-daughter stories. I obviously feel that way because I am a girl. That just makes my opinion more legitimate, in my opinion. And I loved it, but I
or
totally...
more biased, whatever.
No, I think more legitimate.
No, I'm going to go with
No,
biased.
I think more legitimate. And so overall, but I agree. I have talked about this a dozen times because I work in an animation studio, so it's like all we talk about every 6 minutes is this movie. It's really awful. You can't go for a walk to get some water without being like, you see Brave? But what happened?
Dude, I just talked to you about that 3 minutes ago. Yeah, so
I know,
what'd you
but
think about
I thought about something else.
I know, I'm still thinking about this.
Yeah, but I think that the difference between Pixar's dude movies, between their buddy movies and their father-son movies, is that they were stories about the relationships between two guys, whether it was like family or friendship, but it was under the guise of a great arcing story.
The
It was
strong,
an adventure
mature male,
first.
the strong, mature male juxtaposed with the juvenile, irresponsible male who has a coming-of-age moment.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, we needed that for the female audience, for the female aspect of personality, which now, in their defense, they are mostly a bunch of guys who are doing these things.
Sure.
And
Too bad a woman came up with the story and a woman directed it, and then for reasons that have not ever been released to the media, left halfway through the production. And you can feel that in the middle. There was some rewrites and some reshoots, and so the plot, while simple, was okay, except it was a little convoluted at about like the first third, I felt. And you could feel the fact that like they'd written it and then someone went in and touched it and now it was a little bit different. And so you could feel that it changed hands at one point, I feel. And maybe I just saw it because I knew that going in, but it was definitely had like a female presence over top of it and then she left.
it was kind of like the sort of
It's like they didn't, it's like
I don't know what to do now. Let's just let things play out. I don't really have any insight into the female persona.
so we're just
Let's
gonna
just
run with
go
what was left.
with what we've been doing forever.
Yeah. So I guess the high and the low of this is that this story was, while I felt executed absolutely perfectly, a little bit lackluster, and everything about it from a technical and artistic aspect was absolutely beautiful. So let's end on a high note. What was your favorite part?
It would have to be where Merida was riding Angus the horse through the forest. Stunningly beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. With this movie, I really... Because with Tangled, they went with a very cartoony aspect to it. They really went... They wanted to make it look like a very traditionally animated kind of movie.
Glen Keane all over the place.
And with this, I felt that they were doing... They had married the two aspects with traditional animation and the... Now, the thing about Pixar is, with Toy Story, with all the early movies, they really didn't show a lot of humans because I don't think they were good at
always
animating
trying
humans.
to tailor their story to the capabilities of the technology at the time. They did not want to outreach what they could. Absolutely. So
Unfortunately, I think that also kind of retarded the growth of the animators. They're like, oh, we're doing stuff about toys or monsters. We don't have to animate people, thank God.
Yeah, because people are hard.
And with this movie, I think that they really did a good job at embracing human aspects, reality aspects, and then giving them that illusion of life.
Absolutely.
Which is something that Disney wrote the book on, literally. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my favorite part was definitely that. My favorite part, I think, was probably the entire scene that they released early, which is the entirety of the archery scene, not just the part where Merida shoots the bow in through the target, but the lead up to that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so obviously, love it or hate it, this was a solid, if slightly lackluster, first step towards Pixar. I'm willing to give them a pass on all the things that were wrong with it because it was their first
Yes.
girl film. So do another one, because I'll go see that one too.
Not Brave 2.
Not Brave 2, a whole different one,
Yeah.
so just scrap it.
Yeah.
So thanks for paying attention, guys. We have another one coming up. This one's about vampires.
Hey guys, it's us, and we're talking about a different movie. We're talking about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And I'm going to start it off my review by saying that all the ridiculous things that happen in this movie are okay because the movie is called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
You should know what you're getting yourself into when you buy this movie ticket.
If you expect it to be serious and taken seriously, you really don't understand the concept.
No.
Because it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It's the President of the United States hunting vampires.
I'm just gonna go right out there and say that this movie is everything I wanted.
Yeah, it really was.
Exactly as advertised on the tin.
I've talked to a couple people, and some people's qualms are that they kind of just progress the storyline really quickly.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, the movie is not about Abraham Lincoln becoming a president.
It's everything he's done in between.
Yeah, because we all know that Abraham Lincoln's going to become a president. It's not like, oh my god, he became the president.
Shocking.
So it was kind of like, yeah, all right, he became the president, and in between these times, he was fighting vampires. And so it really only cares about the parts where he has a conflict that leads to him wanting to hunt vampires and the storyline with that. So it can seem disjointed if you go in expecting it to be the story of how Abraham Lincoln became the president while hunting vampires, when it's really just a story about Abraham Lincoln hunting vampires.
A basic grasp of American history is a plus, but definitely not necessary. I feel that at times I was like, hey, wait a minute, no, never mind. All
Yeah,
right,
I mean, a
then.
classic example of that is the movie ends with him going off to the theater, presumably on the night that he's going to get shot, but it doesn't have him get shot because it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because at that point, he's already accomplished everything he was supposed to do with the hunting vampires
Yeah,
thing.
he's already wiped out the majority of the vampire threat in America, so he's just like, whatever, I'm just gonna live out my life as president and
Yeah.
do my
So
own things now.
what I liked about the vampires in this movie is they took sort of a fresh take on it, where it was like, hey, these vampires have figured out ways to live in the sun. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like every fight scene was at night, and these vampires could go from place to place without running into the building covered in a jacket burning like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something like that. So because of that, the characters didn't necessarily have the same sort of frailty that vampires are sometimes portrayed as. Like, they're really, really great when it's dark, but when it's not dark, they can't do anything. So they were kind of a presence that always had power, except for their, they didn't bring up things like garlic and crosses. None of that happened.
Well, there's a part where she didn't go into a church.
Yeah, but I mean, basically the only thing that comes up as being a weakness for vampires is silver, and it plays an important role in the movie. But because of this, the fight scenes are really awesome because they don't all take place in dark alleyways and stuff like that. There is a fight scene where they jump across horses, and Abraham Lincoln gets a horse thrown at him, which he gets hit by and then gets up because Abraham Lincoln's a badass.
That's like having a small car thrown at you. It's like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna brush it off, jump back on the freeway with moving cars, and we continue this fight.
And they really played up the idea that the vampires could become invisible and sort of move through time.
Yeah.
Well, move through space really quickly.
Quick jump thing.
Yeah, which led to some really, really awesome fight scenes. There's a wicked fight scene on the train when him and his childhood friend are fighting together, and
The
they're
black
like
guy
throwing the axe back and
The
forth.
black guy who's an awesome fighter with no training.
Yeah, well, it's because he's black in the time with slavery. He had to come up on his own. That's a legitimate reason for being able to fight. He had to
he's a
fight for
badass.
his freedom. So
Alright, sure.
so it's pretty cool. All the killing gets done with an axe, and he's just got like this basic axe too. There's nothing special about it.
The silver axe.
It's a silver axe, except for one scene where there's a freaking rifle hidden in it, which is just awesome. So overall,
This movie sets the bar for axe fighting, by the way.
it does, yeah. And I think it's pretty sweet that the actor actually seemed to take some legitimate training in flipping the axe around to make things look cool. Because he is legitimately flipping an axe around in some scenes where he is not a CG representation of himself.
It's true.
So overall, I thought the movie delivered exactly what I was expecting to. A story that wasn't necessarily about how Abraham Lincoln became a president, but how he hunted vampires with ridiculous action scenes.
The thing is,
they drifted a freaking horse carriage.
When the book was written, it was basically somebody going through some history books and there's a big blank between these years and these years. Oh yeah, big
He's
blank
hunting vampires,
between these years.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
Overall, we recommend it. We didn't see it in 3D
Yep.
because we're typically against 3D.
but
We
it,
both want to go back to see it in 3D.
it looked like it was filmed and made in a way that the fight scenes wouldn't be an awful experience in 3D because they do the slow motion fighting thing and there's occasionally some,
yes.
reaching out and touching you parts.
And I feel like because the movie's ridiculous anyways,
Yep.
it would only just add to the ridiculousness, which is extra ridiculous, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So check out Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, unless you expect it to be a serious movie about a president.
All right, so now that we've stood and talked for a stupendously long time, let's run through the rest of this. For our Canadian content, which we insert whenever we feel like it, a Canadian content webcomic is launching on Canada Day, so that's July 1st. There's going to be a party for the webcomic. Face painting, fireworks, beer.
Bands.
It's going to be great.
It'll be awesome.
I'm so excited. And so you should definitely go check that out. We have the link to that in the show notes. It's called Angora Napkin, and it's a story that takes place primarily in Ontario about a fluff cutie popcore band that gets into ridiculous situations like zombies and underwater adventure and the like. I know the guy who draws it personally, and he's an amazing guy.
I've met him once. He's an awesome guy.
Awesome. So check that one out. On Super Cool Trailers this week.
Yeah. We have Prototype, also known as the Atomic
Robo
Robo sort of
movie?
Rocketeer type thing. So basically in the trailer, this government experiment runs away.
It's really difficult to actually discern what's happening in the trailer, but it just makes me more intrigued.
It's really dark, and it looks like this government experiment has a daughter or something. It's in a hospital, and
Anyway, the trailer makes me want to see it.
it looks really cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then Pokemon Black and White 2 now have official North American and Europe release dates, which
Yay!
are...
October 7th for North America, October 12th for Europe and the UK. There's also a trailer that goes along with this, with English names for a couple of the trainers, and I believe some zones as well, but I'm not 100% sure.
Absolutely. So, we keep our fingers to the pulse on that kind of stuff.
It's true.
So, coming out this week in releases, Ted is out. That's happening.
Yep.
Everyone who isn't us is excited. I
And the
guess.
stripper movie.
And the stripper movie.
And the stripper movie.
Magic Mike!
Yes, the stripper movie that all my coworkers are talking about.
It looks
Even the dude ones.
pretty good.
I guess.
Mike looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's true.
DVD and Blu-ray releases out this week. Mirror Mirror's out. That was quick.
Wrath of the Titans.
Yep.
Pretty quick as well.
And The Artist. I'm gonna get that one because
looks-
I haven't seen it and it looks gorgeous and I
We
need
have
to
it
see
playing
it.
at work. It looks interesting.
Absolutely. Well, it won all the awards
Yeah.
because it's black and
You
white.
don't even need to have the sound on when you're at work.
I've seen it all, but not in order.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then out in games, you can get your Skyrim DLC
Yeah.
for $20.
Dawnguard. You can play as a vampire.
Yeah, it does
And
look pretty
there's
exciting.
horse fighting, and you can fight vampires, and
You could already play as a vampire.
But you
you
can.
can
There's an additional vampire
Shush.
plotline.
Yes, you can turn into bats or something.
I don't know.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't got that far.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's $20. In games you can buy at the store, have special ops. I don't know. The Line,
Yeah.
generic first-person shooter. What?
Woohoo! And then back on DLC, the Mass Effect additional stuff that they promised you guys.
We gave you 2 other endings, guys. Guys,
Please be happy.
where are you?
Please keep buying our
Guys?
things. Don't hate us.
Yep.
And that's it for Off the Press.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're talking about Google's I/O conference because it just wrapped up today.
Yep, so Google had their weekly or yearly developers conference, and it turned out into a hardware announcement extravaganza.
Yeah, it was a pretty packed couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's their first keynote, they released more products just per minute than I think I've ever seen before. So we're going to run through the big ones for you, the big consumer ones. We're going to neglect the Google Glasses thing because I think it's retarded. But also because it's kind of a far off pipe dream, I think, at this point.
Yeah, the state that it exists in right now is working, but not really
Yeah.
workable.
So we might actually go in more in depth on that when people start getting units and we start seeing whether they're actually going to be a legitimate product or be another Google Wave.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with the Google Nexus 7. So Google's now making their own tablet.
It's made by Asus.
It's made by, which is good.
Yes.
Because they're a reputable hardware manufacturer. But basically, this is the blessed tablet. Like we've had the Nexus line of phones made by Samsung. We're going to have the Nexus tablet. So this is the be all and end all for Google tablets. Now the good thing is basically they've taken the Kindle Fire model. So they're going cheap, but unlike the Kindle Fire, they're going powerful somehow.
Yeah. This seems like a scenario where Google wants you to buy this phone to get into the Android marketplace because they're likely losing money on this product.
Yeah, I can't see. So it's
Or breaking
$199
even.
for the 16 gig.
Yes.
And $250 for the 32 gig, and those are the only two options. That's dirt cheap.
Yeah, and if you haven't guessed by the name, it's a 7-inch screen.
Yeah, hence the 7. So it's pretty much the Kindle Fire, but it's pumped up underneath the hood. You've got a dual-core 1.3 CPU. Quad-core 1.3 gig CPU, which is way outperforms. Just starting there, way outperforms the Fire. It's the Tegra 3. It's got NFC, it's got a gig of RAM, it's got a camera, it's got GPS. Pretty high resolution, 1280 by 800 for that 7-inch screen, which is pretty good. So basically, they're going out there. They have to be losing money on this.
Yeah, I really feel like this is an attempt to come to market. I mean, the thing is that everyone knows that your competitor is Apple because the numbers on paper is that Apple is killing everybody. And the Kindle Fire was doing quite well because of its price point.
Yeah.
And I think Google knew that if it came out with a $400 or $500 tablet, it wouldn't have, even if it was really fancy, Google still misses the point where it's not about the hardware, it's about what can you do with your tablet. And that's what most of the manufacturers miss when they're presenting it. It's like, oh, it's got this and this and this, but it's like, well, how do I use that for me? Yeah. So Google's kind of going, all right, well, we need to come in here with something with shock value. And I think at this point, it's like the price point.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are going, well, why would I want to move from Amazon? Because they've got, all this big ecosystem built around. I can get movies on Amazon and music and books. Well, Google also released in tandem with this Nexus 7 big updates to Google Play. Google Play is kind of like their iTunes equivalent or their Amazon equivalent. So you can buy music, you can buy apps, you can buy books. Now they're introducing television shows. So I think networks, they have like ABC, NBC, Sony, Paramount.
Good stuff.
That's a pretty good lineup to start with for sure.
Yeah.
And you can buy episode or buy season like you can on iTunes. They're releasing movies for purchase, not just for rental. They're also releasing magazines. And to start, they have Hearst, Condé Nast, and I don't know who they are.
Rather decent magazines.
We don't read magazines really, but
it's true.
I guess big magazine publishers. Those names mean something.
Well, Condé Nast's pretty big for sure.
So that's a huge step for Google to say, look, you buy our tablet. You get a Nexus tablet, a Nexus phone. You're integrated everything with Google Play, and we can provide you everything you need there. You don't have to go anywhere else. So this is a real kick in the balls to Amazon more than Apple.
It is, yeah.
Because, like we discussed with the Microsoft Surface is going to be the competitor to the iPad.
Absolutely.
That's the same price point, same kind of power, same kind of usage.
And Microsoft is really the only company that can compete on I think on a software level.
Absolutely.
To directly target Apple
I agree.
At this point. Because Android still has so many sort of broken bits about it.
Yeah. So, this is really kind of taking it out of people who are making good things out of Android, which is very confusing because Google is all about this open source, but they keep making these moves that make other people's Android devices seemingly useless.
Yeah.
And in the tablet market, you're not going to get a new tablet every couple of years. Hopefully you'd want to stick. It's not going to be like a phone.
Google has to be careful and not play the every 3 months there's a new Android tablet game because no one is going to replace their tablet at the rate. I mean, we replace our phones, in our opinion, too frequently as it is.
Absolutely.
And the tablets we replace less frequently than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at a tablet having a bare minimum, in my opinion, a bare minimum normal lifespan of 3 years.
Absolutely.
And so if you bring out a new tablet every 6 months, well, it's not going to sell.
No. So, I mean, this is really... I don't know what's going to happen here when this goes for sale. We don't know when a Canadian release date's coming, but it is coming to Canada eventually. This is just going to take out of that Kindle Fire market, and that's the completely different market in our opinions than the iPad, Microsoft Surface type market, or the higher end like something like a Transformer Prime, which is ripped out compared to this. So I think it's kind of an interesting play. I think it'll sell well. I don't see why not at $200.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to sell to the same people. So it's kind of an interesting play as opposed to doing what Microsoft did. So that's the latest there. Now, if we want to go into the new version of Android a little bit.
Yeah, so the Nexus 7 is going to be shipping with 4.1, which is Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean.
And the big thing that they've done under the hood here is make it faster.
Yes.
And all the early reviews of people getting a chance to try 4.1 on devices at Google I/O is that it's not just a little bit faster; it is way faster.
So the idea here is it's not Android 5, right? This is Android 4.1. So basically, the sum of it is, I mean, there's lots of little features that we could go into forever, but it's basically ice cream sandwich, but better. There's no crazy changes. It's just, incremental things, but they concentrate on performance, which is something Google has never done on an Android dev. They've always been shoving out features, shoving out APIs, which is great. You need that. But this is the first time we've seen a focus in on, wow, there's a lot of problems. A lot of people complain about things like lag and stuff in Android. So they've concentrated on that. So what I really want to talk about for that is Project Butter, which is how they're going to get this performance up. So they're aiming for a baseline of 60 frames per second on all devices. And they're going to do that by basically reworking how the OS uses the hardware. So this isn't a hardware level thing. And you're going to see, as soon as you touch the screen, you get your CPU revved up to 100%. And it's going to stay that way, I'm assuming, for a certain amount of time or something like that. So that if you go to do something else, your CPU will be ready to do that. So you're going to get faster responses that way. They're also increasing caching, so when you scroll, that'll be a better experience because it's not reloading the stuff all the time. It'll cache more. And they've also basically separated a bit more appropriately the CPU and GPU tasks, so they're not kind of butting heads on who's doing what. So you're going to get a little more efficiency that way. So hopefully across everybody running 4.1, regardless of your device, you should get a much better user experience in terms of fluidity on Android 4.1.
But they're going to have to play the line of making sure that these changes don't cause a serious decrease in battery power as well. So,
yes, absolutely.
So it's going to require some clever coding, but I think if done properly, you'll definitely it'll be a long time until we hear more complaints about lag, because this will probably solve a lot of everyone's problems right now.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of other little tweaks. The voice dictation can be used offline now instead of having to be online,
which is actually a pretty impressive feat.
Yes, because that's a lot of things to draw from, and to get that down to a database size that's reasonable is good.
Yeah.
Maps can be used offline somewhat selectively, which is cool. And to be honest, a feature I'd kind of like.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going hiking or somewhere where you're not going to necessarily get good service, you want to load a map for that area.
We in Canada have a lot of spotty parts.
Well, it's a big country,
True,
hard
with
to cover.
Lots of forests.
Yeah, so I think that's a cool feature. There's lots of other little things, tweaks to the home screen, tweaks to the UI, of course. The big thing is, when the hell is everyone going to get this?
Yeah.
So if you have a Nexus device, something with the Nexus in it, you get it mid-July, which is very soon. These new Nexus devices are shipping with 4.1, the Nexus 7. Everything else is whenever people feel like updating. And someone pointed out, a lot of journalists have pointed out, a lot of phones still aren't on ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
So if this comes available next month, it could be 8 months before you see yourself on Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest problem, I think, with Android. When Windows ships an update, it's available to everybody. When iOS ships an update, it's available to everybody. This has to be rolled out. So it's going to be an interesting challenge, I think, to see, I want this, but do I have to buy a new phone to get it? Because that's just ridiculous. So we'll have to wait and see. I believe there's a couple others that are guaranteed to get it on ship. Something like the Zoom is getting it, which I think is ridiculous. Who owns a Zoom? The Motorola Zoom. But stay tuned if you want to get 4.1. Hopefully, if you are on something like 2 point something, forget it. But if you're on 3 point something, maybe you'll be getting 4.1 sooner or later.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about sort of the weird thing that came out of this announcement, which is the Nexus Q, which is a media streaming device for your television.
Yep.
Lots of those exist. We like the Apple TV. We also like the Roku player because they give you a lot of features for a really good price point.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the weird thing about the Q. You get a lot of the same features for 3 times the price.
Yeah, so it's retailing at $299, which means it's going to be more than that up here in Canada when we finally get it, which who knows when. Now, the strange thing here is this isn't Google TV, which they also have, which is another project.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a disconnect there. This is, Nexus branded, so it's in the whole Android family. It's, it gives all the standard stuff hardware-wise, except, it's got a 16 gig storage, built
Yeah.
in, which is different than a lot of the media players. Basically, this is meant to flawlessly work your whole Android ecosystem controlled by your phone or tablet. So, it'll pull music from, your Google Music folder, whether that be in the cloud or whatever. It can, download a movie you bought in Google Play and play it. You can also stream from your tablet or phone to it, and it'll play the music or videos or photos and things like that. So it seems a little bit more integrated than what we've seen from other offerings.
Well, I mean, although arguably all the things you just mentioned you can do on an Apple TV.
Yeah, but it's not quite the same. This is going to do it for you.
Okay.
When you open up your iPad and it's not quite, music's not stored on my Apple TV.
True.
If I want to play music that I've also bought, I have to go to my phone and download it and play it, right? Whereas here, if I've got Google Music in the cloud, I can pull it up and the device will pull it up. I could turn my tablet off at that point. So it's a little bit more independent. It's kind of that one last step. Although usability, I agree. It's not going to make that big a difference in day-to-day using, especially for videos, which is going to be huge. It'll plug into your network with wired. It's got wireless and that kind of thing, HDMI out. It also has the speakers that you can buy that plug into it, which I think is unnecessary. It'll also have an optical audio out, so if you want to use your existing sound system, who needs a pair of speakers? I guess this would be cool if you wanted to have like...
I mean, if you were using it in like a dorm room or something where it was your entire media center, maybe I could understand that, plugging in a set of, cheap speakers to it and not getting a receiver and stuff. If this was your entire content, but on top of that, it's really weird looking because it's a sphere.
It's an orb, and it looks ridiculous because when you have all the speakers and the HDMI and stuff plugged in, they're just like leaving out the back of the sphere. And it glows.
It's basically a prop from Prometheus.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Now, $300 sounds like a lot, and it is when you compare it to an Apple TV, but it's even a lot when you compare it to an Xbox.
Or even a boxy box.
Yeah, well, the boxy box is what, $250 now?
No,
200?
180.
Yeah, so, and the boxy box gives you a lot more customization. It'll still do streaming with DLNA. The Xbox will do streaming with DLNA, plus you get an Xbox. I mean, a PS3's $299 now. Is it less?
Yeah,
$249.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a hard sell at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, our problem with the device right now is we just don't see what the extra money is for.
Yeah, functionality-wise, I think it'd be cool. If it was $100, I'd pick it up.
Yeah.
I would have no problem recommending it at $100 or even $150 maybe.
Because that's still in the ballpark.
And it's got the speakers thing built in, which is kind of cool. You have to pay up if you want the actual Nexus speakers, obviously. They look kind of nice. They're kind of like mid-book speakers. But, at $300, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. It doesn't make any kind of sense. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see that come down. I still don't understand that and Google TV coexisting. Why wouldn't you have one device? It's running Android, not Google TV, and it has been hacked to play games and run Android apps within 24 hours of it being released.
Sounds pretty
So,
Google-like.
there's that. That's basically it from Google I/O. We don't want to talk about the glasses too much for the reasons we talked about earlier. And then they went and released a bunch more apps, which maybe we'll review next week. I just didn't want to cloud it too much.
Yeah.
But lots of stuff coming from Google. So if you're a big Android fan, there's lots to look forward to.
But I did want to add some Canadian content this week, and that's an update on RIM's situation.
Oh, yes. That's a good point.
Because RIM has decided that they're going to cut 5,000 jobs.
Yes.
And BlackBerry 10 will come out in 2013, which is already far too late.
It's already too late if they shipped it with 3 new phones today.
Yes.
So the fact that they're doing that is a big problem. You've seen most of the original executives willingly leave the company. They haven't been let off. The only guy sticking around is Elop, who's not Elop. What's his name? I can't even remember. That's
Doesn't
the
matter.
Nokia guy. It's the guy who got promoted to CEO.
Let's call him Jorg Jurgensen.
All right, sounds good. So Mr. Jurgensen, is sticking around. But everyone else is leaving, and they're laying off 5,000. Now, that's worldwide. So that's not a ton of people if you look at how big RIM is, but it's not a good sign.
So yeah, I mean, it's the problem with saying we have to lay off 5,000 people. Oh, and by the way, it's another 6-month delay for your operating system.
Not to mention their stock has done nothing but go down. I believe it's approaching $10.
Yeah.
Which is, if not under $10.
So, I mean, if you're a giant RIM fanboy, now's the time to buy into it with the hopes that they'll have an astounding comeback, but they won't.
Or if you're a smart RIM fanboy, ditch your BlackBerry and buy anything else.
Yeah.
But not a Windows Phone. Wait till the fall.
And that brings us to the end of Tech Insight for this week.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to Science This Week. We're going to start off with rock, paper, scissors robot.
Yes. So University of Tokyo decided that they would, use a really advanced robotic hand that they basically invented last year. It's the fastest one on the planet, which we talked about before.
Yep.
And they decided to give it a new trick. Instead of just, dribbling a ball with 3 fingers, they taught it how to play rock, paper, scissors. And it can't be beat.
Okay, before we get too excited about this,
Yeah.
basically what this boils down to is it's fancy camera work.
Really, really fancy camera that is watching you play and,
There's like, I believe it's a millisecond or a tenth of a millisecond.
It's
delay.
within it's just 1 millisecond, and it's able to actually come up with whatever's gonna, it can analyze it using a very sophisticated algorithm, and counter your attack very quickly. It's actually really amazing to watch.
It's really cool.
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't need a robot that's gonna beat me at that.
It's so petty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a we did it because we could sort of thing.
Yeah, I think like some grad students just need a project or something, and
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hand it off to him.
It's cool though.
Yeah, it is really cool. But unfortunately, that's all we can really say about it. There's not
Yeah.
much more to it. I just wanted to mention it because, well, it is pretty cool.
It is really neat.
It's kind of creepy. But something instead of something creepy, something to save your life potentially.
Fantastic.
If it gets working, they've actually figured out how to literally inject oxygen into your bloodstream without your lungs working because you've been in an accident or something and your airway's blocked because of swelling or something's jammed in there.
Or an accident of some sort.
Yeah, or you've had acute lung failure, which happens, which is a really weird thing. Basically, what they found is they were able to. Unfortunately, I can't remember where this is coming out of, and I don't think they really mentioned. There it is. Children's Hospital of Boston. Sorry about that.
Uh-huh.
They were able to find out that they could take specific types of lipids, so different types of fat, and actually just infuse it with oxygen. They can put this into your bloodstream, and right now with animals, they were able to obstruct their airway, and they kept the animal alive for about 15 minutes, which is great. Considering that it had no access to its lungs.
Mm-hmm. That's usually enough time to.
That's a
rush you to the
lot of
hospital.
time. A lot of time.
Yep.
Matter of fact, with humans, they're thinking that because the sheer amount that they could pump into us without causing damage, you get about 30 minutes. So that's a lot of time to either clear the obstruction or get your arse into a hospital.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. Now, I was thinking, oh, great. I don't need to breathe anymore because I'm tired of these things. Yeah. See, the way this works is... What? The way that this works is because of the lipids, it just doesn't really work in large quantity.
Yeah.
You're more than likely going to end up, just cholesterol all to hell.
Yeah, it's more of a temporary fix than.
Very temporary, and,
You'll still have to use your lungs.
yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Just, I wish I didn't have to. But then again, this could help for, other things if they can get it extended. I just don't want them anymore, right?
They're squishy and soft.
Exactly. And they're in me. I don't need them
All
there.
right, moving on to squishy and soft. Cats are squishy and soft.
They are, but
Yep.
unfortunately, they're not the real topic.
No, they're kind of a.
Because, everyone
footnote.
likes cats.
Everyone loves cats. What are you talking about?
Not everyone loves them. People like them.
Are you on the internet? Of course you love cats.
Yeah, you're probably watching us right now, and you're probably looking at cats. So you're not even watching us. You're probably looking at cat pictures. Well, you wouldn't be alone. And matter of fact, you wouldn't be the only human on the planet, but you also wouldn't be the only computer on the planet if you were an AI. Google Brain has kind of went a little more live now, coming out of their X Lab, as they call it. It's essentially a neural network.
Yep.
And they have this
Basically, an
huge
AI
compound.
that can recognize a crazy amount of objects.
Pretty
So-
much give it anything.
Yep.
It's able to actually recognize objects instead of, as they
So-
said, edges, blobs.
Yeah, basically anything
points.
from like a camera to a phone to an apple to a cat to a person.
Yeah. And so what do you do when you have 16,000 network computer processors? You allow it access to YouTube.
Yeah.
And
obviously.
then what does it do? It starts looking for
Analyzing
cat videos.
faces and
Yeah, it starts analyzing faces and things like that, but then it starts actually finding videos of cats and starts looking
with
for
a
videos
scary
of
amount of
cats.
accuracy on the
Is that
cat
where all
and
the
the
fake
faces.
and gay comments came from?
No,
No.
those are the 12-year-olds.
Yeah, those are human. I'm really hoping anyway, because if this thing's doing that, you gotta pull the plug. I'm sorry.
It is pretty young though.
It needs to be
it's
turned off.
It's like first day on the internet, kid.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It should learn quickly, and if it
Yeah.
continues, pull the plug.
We're all 12 once.
It's a failed experiment.
Once. Only once.
once. Luckily.
We all get one.
But basically, it's got 76.7% accuracy,
Yep.
which is better than any facial
Is this,
recognition or object recognition.
76 in general, or just for cats?
For in general.
In general, yeah.
Like it's able to identify cats, of course, cat faces.
The reason
but
I ask is because the article lists.
I know it's all about cats.
But no, it just lists a bunch of percentages for the different things that it sees that it has a high percentage of recognition with.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's able to actually recognize humans
Yep.
and cats,
Faces.
which is the odd thing. It's fixating on humans and cats. Whether that's put in there as the algorithm or not, I don't know. Either way, they're saying that it is far from perfect, but they're very hopeful because they want this to continue in development. And it's not just going to be working as an AI, but also for object and facial recognition. We've been trying to get this sort of stuff off the ground forever, and specifically make it so it's accurate. So it's not just, as they said, edges,
Box.
blobs, box, that thing. You know, it's, oh, that is a, actual Olympus camera that they're holding.
that is a car coming at me.
Yeah.
Not just, that's a red blob coming at me.
And not to mention, it would also help the searches, right? Because
Yeah.
you'd sit there and put in, I want to find this, and it would be like, oh, I know that. There.
Yeah.
And then Google even has more of our lives
And
now.
then it invents Skynet. But Skynet's distracted by cats. So
Hey!
so we're saved.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So we're saved from Skynet, and that rounds it up for the week.
Hey everybody, welcome behind the lens. Off the top, we have a groundbreaking review of Canon's latest lineup in their Rebel series, the T4i.
Yeah. I didn't even bother bringing it in because if you want to go back and search on our website for my review of the T3i, watch that review and then add touchscreen functionality. Hey, there you go.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's apparently a new processor in it.
So they say.
Add some extra autofocus points. Apparently that makes a new camera.
Well, a new Canon camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my review of the T4i. We'll talk about this camera in a little bit, but first some actual semi-legitimate Canon news.
Yes, the 7D, the big brother.
Yeah, which is getting kind of long in the tooth now. It's almost 3 years old.
Yeah.
But Canon has decided to give it a massive firmware upgrade. One of the biggest firmware upgrades we've ever seen for a Canon camera ever. So the 7D is getting a firmware upgrade that's going to do the following things. So first off, it's going to improve the buffer length of shooting RAWs. It's going to go from 15 RAWs continuously to 25 RAWs continuously.
That's a big change.
Yep. It's going to have customizable auto ISO now, so you can adjust the range that you want it to work in. Control of audio during recording, which is something that was always sort of a letdown for the 7D because it had great HDMI out, but crappy audio in. So now the audio in's a little better. And they've also added the ability to reprocess RAWs and rate the images with a star system. And it now works with the new GPS module.
That is a big firmware
That's
update.
a big firmware update, which is kind of odd considering how old the camera is. I feel like that either means that they realize they've run out of things to add to the cameras and they haven't come up with a 7DI yet, or they're just going, hey, if we add firmware updates, people will go buy it.
Possibly.
Because we just didn't give them these features to begin with.
Yeah.
God damn it, Canon.
So
I hate you.
that'll be available August 2012.
Yeah.
A couple months if you're a 7D owner and you just need those things right now.
So moving on, we talked about the Nokia, the 808 PureView, which had a 41 megapixel camera in it
Yes.
with a large sensor. It was just mind-blowing, and we were disappointed because it was never coming stateside. But now it is. Nokia changed their mind, I guess, and decided that it's now going to be available in the UK and also in the US. Now it's coming off contract, so it's kind of expensive.
So my bet is here they did one run of production and no one's buying them.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to pick one up, it's going to be $699 off contract. It's still running Symbian, so it's old.
And unsupported.
Yep. However, it does have an astounding camera for a smartphone. So if you were going to spend like $300 on a point and shoot, and then also wanted to buy a new phone but didn't really care about the operating system, this might be an option for you. Or if you just really, really want to be the guy at the party with the 41 megapixel camera phone, might be an option for you.
Or if you're, a collector,
I guess.
gotta have all those weird
I
things.
feel bad for the person who collects Nokia phones
Oh,
because they've got to have thousands.
like
Like they just have a back room full of
really,
Nokia phones.
really, they just need the brick.
It's really about it. The one with the satchel bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah.
No,
That'd be
no, just own that, and then you're
good.
cool.
The
You're-
car phone.
Yeah, the mobile phone. Before mobile phone was just a term.
Yeah.
Okay, on the flip side, I am kind of excited that it's coming to the U.S. because I think it's really cool technology, and I would love to see people buy it and be like, "Screw iOS, I'm going to use Symbian because my camera's awesome."
I would love to see Nokia take this and put it in a Windows phone.
Which hopefully, because they're bringing it to the U.S., means that they might legitimately care about it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because why, if you have this amazing camera technology, would you not use it in the phones that people actually want?
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe some Windows Phone 8 phones will have something similar.
Yeah, so it'll be you can order it on Amazon right now. It's going to be €4.99, available June 30th, so like a couple days from now in the UK, and July 8th in the US for $6.99 off contract. If you wanted the Nokia 808. And moving on to our Henry's camera gear review this week, we are talking about the Olympus Tough TG-1. We've talked about waterproof Tough cameras before.
Yes, we like them. We talked about them
We
a lot.
do like them because we like life-proof cameras. Because if you're going to buy a point and shoot in an age where our smartphones
take such good cameras,
take such good pictures, you kind of want your point and shoot to maybe take a beating or do a little bit more than just take a photo. And that's what we like about Tough cameras. And the thing is that we've hit this point recently where almost all the waterproof cameras pretty much all do the same thing.
Very similar, yeah.
They're all shooting, 720p or 1080p. They're all waterproof to like 44 feet. And, they all have 4 to 5 times optical zoom. And so, the thing is, we've hit this point where they're all good, but nothing stands out. And Olympus has decided that they kind of want to counter that with the TG-1. So this is the first time we are seeing a waterproof, life-proof camera with an f2.0 lens.
Wow.
So brighter than all the competition, which usually started around like a 3.5 range most of the time.
So that's a significant difference.
Yeah, so that's nice, especially when you're dealing with underwater shots because you lose light so fast underwater. So if you really are looking for something that's going to be good for snorkeling and stuff, that f2.0 makes a huge difference with this guy. And what's also cool about it is they've got this lens removal thing, and then you can attach a fisheye and a additional telephoto.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's got some attachable lenses for it as well, which I think is pretty nifty because I think a fisheye underwater it's a fisheye.
Cool. Yeah.
So
it'd be
a
appropriate.
fisheye taking pictures of fish just seems, I guess, natural or
Meta.
something. Yeah, getting all meta with the cameras. So I these things. There we go. It always takes a while to get back in. Anyway, so I like that it's got the attachable lens. I like that it has the f2.0 lens. It's kind of big.
It is a little big, especially compared to, say, the... I can't remember the other brand now.
Well, Sony's are really small.
Yeah, most of them generally are a little bit smaller than this guy.
Yeah, so this guy's a little chunky, but it does have a really, really nice OLED screen on the back. Which is super vibrant, which is going to make shooting underwater easier because you could actually see that screen easier. It's got the tap control system that it has. They've added the GPS to this, which is good. It's got we were talking. It's a manometer. How do you say it?
Manometer.
A manometer. It's such a weird word.
Manometer.
It reminds me of the manometer.
Almost.
Yeah. So it's got the pressure gauges and all that kind of stuff for recording the information. The GPS will use landmarks and stuff like that, which is also pretty cool. It shoots 1080p video. The image stabilization is really good in the video. The problem is the video itself is kind of crappy. So I tried a couple different settings to see if it was a settings thing, and it didn't help. My problem with the video is it's fairly grainy and it's very washed out, and although the focus is fast, it's darty, so it likes to jump around a lot. So if you were looking to shoot underwater videos, I think you might be disappointed with this. My other problem with it is that because it has an f2.0 lens, I was really hoping it was going to try and attract a pro shooter market with this. So I was really hoping for things like a manual shooting mode, which it doesn't have.
It doesn't have, yeah.
I was kind of hoping for RAW, which it doesn't have. And it'd be cool because it would be the first underwater camera to
With
have
RAW,
RAW.
yeah.
And when you're like f2.0 lens, that's really a time to be like, and here's some RAW, you know? So because it doesn't have RAW and because it doesn't have manual shooting, I found that the picture quality is really great outdoors, but not so great in low light. It does have a low light mode, but in my testing, I really, between like intelligent auto and the low light mode, I couldn't really discern a difference. They both seem to be about the same amount of noise. So I'm not sure if it's improving like the sharpness or if it's improving the noise, but it doesn't seem to be improving the noise. So my qualm with it is that it tends to get noisy at around 640 ISO, which isn't great.
Yeah.
But again, this is a camera that for the most part is probably going to be used outdoors.
Where there's lots of light.
And Olympus's color engine is really great. What I do like about it is Olympus is known for having really awesome art filters, and they've pumped this full of all their art filters, as well as added a couple of other ones that even like the OMD doesn't have. So it's got all the great art filters. You can use them in the video as well, which is kind of cool. And overall, I find that the camera's pretty easy to use. A lot of the cameras don't have this like swivel mode dial, and this is really great when you're underwater because it's hard to touch things when you're underwater, especially if you have like diving gloves on or something like that. So it's fairly easy to actually operate the camera underwater. I think it's pretty good looking too. Like it's minimalist, but it's got this sort of like, I feel like if you bumped into like a Navy SEAL and he had this on him, it wouldn't seem out of place because of its coloring and like the way the grip is designed and everything.
See, it jumps out to me as a camera from like 6 years ago.
Yeah, you think it's
Style-wise?
You think it's a little old looking?
I have a Canon point and shoot that looks almost exactly like that.
Well, it's true because Canon did have its days where everything was square.
Yeah.
And this is a very square camera.
No, not that I don't like the styling. I think the color's really nice, and I like the rubberized parts.
And I like this sort of this metal. This only one part here is metal.
Yeah, but because it's so like it's not as slim and as small a form factor as you see in a lot of the other cameras, it just kind of looks like it's a camera from 5 years ago. They're just pumped full with things like GPS and stuff that you never would have got at that point.
Yeah. So you've also got the LED, which is kind of cool. It's got a super macro mode where you can literally be on top of something and take a picture, and that LED can help you out. But because it's designed to sort of be an adventure cam, you can also just turn on the LED and use it as a flashlight,
No, that's
like
kinda,
without the camera running. Like there's a
like what people do on their phones all
yeah,
the
like
time.
there's a way, I don't know how to do it, but there's a way to operate it so that this just turns on and it's a light, so you can see what you're doing and then take a picture or something like that. So I mean, overall, I think it's a pretty cool camera. I like that it's f2.0. The picture quality outdoors is really good. It's got all the mapping, GPS, barometer kind of stuff that you'd want out of an adventure camera. I just wish it had manual control. I wish it had RAW, and the video quality is disappointing.
So I mean, save the grainy video. It kind of hits your everyday user adventure camera things pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. But because of the few drawbacks that I wish it had, because it's almost marketed to be like the pro waterproof camera, I can only give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't quite deliver.
No, but I do think it's a good camera, and I think it would still be one of my top choices in the higher end waterproof cameras. You can get it for $3.99 at any Henry's location or online at henrys.ca.
So you go, the Olympus TG-1 for all you adventurers. And that wraps up Behind the Lens this week.
And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us on the Twitters, you can reach us at almost_Friday.
Or if 140 characters just won't do it, you can send us an email at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
If you're on that book of faces, you can type us into the search bar, The Almost Friday Show, or you can go to facebook.com/The Almost Friday Show.
And, if you like us, we'll show up right in your, what do they call it, timeline now?
Time feed,
Time
travel,
time
warp.
time stream. No, I don't dance to that song.
Well, that's fine. But if you dance to that song,
You can send us a video on Facebook.
no, don't.
We'll play it on the show.
Will we? Will we really do that?
I'll play it on the show.
Yes, well.
He'll just put it in the background on one of our segments.
It's Wheel of TV.
On loop as well. Just,
You can become internet famous.
yeah, like we're internet famous.
That's not the good way to do it.
I know.
Try YouTube.